Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
Pretty is pretty important in all things in beauty. Welcome to Radio AMB, designed for those who want to live a long and vibrant life. I'm Patty Schmucker, your host, and someone who's been in the beauty industry for about 40 years. Radio AMB, which stands for American Made Beauty, is where we tell the secrets behind the making of health and beauty products. One of our program sponsors today is Free Your Mane. You can find Free Your Mane at freeyourmane.com. That's spelled M-A-N-E. And you can also find them at Anthropologie stores. You know, earlier this year I went to Italy for the largest beauty industry show in the world, and I happened to travel home through Paris on the same day as the Brussels bombing. A 24-hour delay in the flight led to a wonderful conversation with a gentleman during the long wait, and I learned about his journey to discover his passion and about the lost art of the gentleman. During our feature interview, you'll meet Luke Wessman, learn how he started developing his own personal brand, his journey into the tattooing business, and how his company is evolving. During our In the Jar segment, you'll hear how Luke's work as a contemporary artist has been his pathway into the beauty industry. You won't want to miss the story about how a famous beauty brand started in 1851 has engaged Luke to spice up their brand. In our Beauty That Sold Deep segment, we'll learn how the lost art of the gentleman came about and what it means. And finally, in our Beauty Biz segment, in honor of the 4th of July and the celebration of what it means to be American, we're going to talk about American-made beauty and why our work is so important. So let's get started. Luke Wessman came into tattooing in the late 90s as a working-class Southern California surfer. Imagine that. Luke's career began apprenticing in a traditional-style tattoo shop owned by another legendary tattoo artist, Dave Gibson. Under Gibson's mentorship, Luke formed a solid skill base to become a great tattoo artist. After leaving home at 15 years old, discipline and patience challenged Luke and drove him to reach his proclaimed self-made status. Throughout his career, Luke has ventured into various industries, including fashion, television, streetwear, while always working to further develop his craft as a tattooer. For 10 years, he owned and operated San Diego-based Lucky's Tattoo Parlor and has worked with the best tattoo artists around the world. Wessman has appeared on TLC's hit reality show Miami Ink and New York Ink magazine, and most recently as a guest judge at Spike TV Ink Maker. Luke now resides in Los Angeles, and his list of celebrity clients is too numerous to mention, but go to LukeWessman.com to see his complete list. So welcome, Luke. I'm thrilled to have you here with me.
Hi, Patty. Thanks for having me. It's so great to be here.
You know, when I went to your website after meeting you halfway across the world, I was struck by your first headline. It said, self-made, dues paid. So powerful. Tell us how the journey began for you.
Just like the tattoo journey in general, or? Yeah,
just how you started your career and how you found tattooing to be your passion.
You know, it's funny. Tattooing kind of found me. I mean, I grew up with this hippie parents that really taught creativity when I was really young. Mm-hmm. So I just kept that creativity with me, but also kind of lived on my own since a young guy and worked as an electrician. And so I really wanted to, make sure I could provide for myself being on my own. So I was an electrician. I was able to get a bunch of tattoos and still be able to hold a good job, especially back then. It was a little more taboo.
Absolutely.
But in that line of work, it was okay to be tattooed. So I really just kind of started getting them because it was around my area and part of the culture I was growing up in, surfing, a little bit rougher area in the San Diego County that I was in.
Right.
And And then, a guy that I was surfing with that was a tattoo artist just asked me if I wanted to learn. And this was a time where you couldn't Google it and find out if, tattooers could make a living or what it was all about. But I was just drawn to it. I was drawn to, the craft, the art, the lifestyle that, was so intriguing. And,
right.
So I just kind of dove in. I dove in head first and haven't looked back.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because, if for those of you, because they can't see you, you're a guy that's tattooed but sleeves, right?
Yeah.
And the one right on your eye. And so, there's some people that would be a little bit standoffish. And here we are halfway across the world, and you were directly in front of me on the line. But I immediately knew you were approachable. Do you find that that's something that is evolving in terms of people being more acceptant of people who are tattooed in the appearance?
Yeah, absolutely. I think now more than ever, with the reality shows and just kind of like the celebrity and the athlete that have them
right.
Publicly. I definitely remember a time when people were a little more scared or nervous or, pulled their kids a little tighter. And it was a sad time, because
right.
I've never been a bad guy.
Right.
I just looked a little tough, which I still probably do. But it's fun for me to kind of crush those stereotypes,
Right.
It's like, sparking up a nice conversation with you in Paris. It was just, I love that.
Right, absolutely. And so tell us a little bit about your dad, because you said that your dad was part of the inspiration with regards to your art.
I just kind of, it's a loose kind of generalization. My dad was a musician and a really creative guy. And so I just kind of took, those little things as a young kid, just seeing him be creative and see him do music, write music, and just translate it into that general form of creativity.
Right.
And turn that into my medium, which became tattooing.
Right.
Which now is evolved into other things where I'm doing illustration for companies and stuff like that.
And so as an artist, what would you say is your inspiration?
Nowadays my inspiration is just the people. It's what they bring in, it's what they've gone through in their life, and they come in, and it's always different every day. Mm-hmm. So my inspiration kind of goes up and down depending on my clientele. Sometimes it's some very serious work that they want. Sometimes it's just something fun or funny. So the inspiration comes from the clientele, I think, more than anything, but also from my travels and just kind of staying aware and like looking for inspiration too in general in the world.
Right. And are you finding, so we met in Paris, so you're having the opportunity to travel all over the world. What are some of the things that you're seeing globally that perhaps that's augmenting maybe what's going on here in the U.S. for your inspiration?
I'm like a sponge. I never thought I'd travel so much. So when I go, I've been to so many places in the last 10 years now. And, just from, the architecture of the place or the old city or the culture, I'm just taking so much in that it's always overwhelming, and I just try to hold on to little pieces from those trips. But, I can't pinpoint one thing, but there's just so much of the world, it's so big.
Right, absolutely. And so tell us, you currently you have a small studio or a private studio in Orange County and also do some work up in West LA. What would you, if somebody was to want to come and think about doing a tattoo, how do you guide somebody through that process?
Well, first of all, just, sending me an email is how it starts, just to kind of open the dialogue about what they want and what location they're at, because I'm also in New York very often.
Okay.
So luckily for people, I'm all over the United States, and especially the coast. But, just, if it starts with the email, it starts with what they want. And a lot of times now, I've been doing it so long, I do get a little picky, and not everybody can get in, not because I'm some cool guy or like whatever, but I've definitely done it so much that I pick and choose a little bit more.
Right.
I have the luxury of it.
Of being able to, yeah.
Yeah.
And so how did you develop that luxury? What was it? What was the process that went from being, starting your career as a tattoo artist and then being able to achieve this global status as, a celebrity tattoo artist?
I really attribute it to hard work, like just really staying consistent with your work, with the quality of your work, the way you treat people, and having that consistency wherever you go. There's no variation. You're going to get my full attention. You're going to get my, 18 plus years of experience on your piece, and you're like you're everything for me at that moment. Mm-hmm. And I think just the consistency of quality of work and, bedside manner. You're sitting there with somebody on a real personal level. And I just try to keep all that stuff on point.
Right, right. And so when you started your career, and your career started really taking off after you worked with Dave, right?
Yeah.
What was it that sort of led you to get into some of these other celebrity kind of events and tattoo shops and that type of thing?
I think for me, I just started to realize that the industry was growing so fast. There was so many artists and a lot of people that were becoming better faster because of the internet. And so I looked at the industry as a whole, and I said, well, what's going to make someone want to come to me, versus someone else that's comparable? And I started to rely on the idea of, my internet presence and how I was representing myself and how findable I was.
Right.
So I think as a general brand idea, just being aware, like, you put me in a lineup, why would someone come to me? And I think I just like the idea of telling my story and then having people come to me for my work, and because they're like, oh, this guy seems very interesting or has an interesting story. So I just decided to be honest, publicly honest in my social media presence about my life, my history, which at one time I was embarrassed of, coming from a poor status and, hippie family. And I just turned that into my story and ran with it and became bold with it. And
right.
In turn, it has paid off because people seem to identify with it or really like it or pay attention.
Well, and authenticity is what is a currency that really is what people are looking for in the market today.
Yeah.
And so you hard work is one of the attributes that absolutely. And then you said also the whole idea of consciously starting to create a brand around you. And so that was probably a pretty bold step to think about that around personally. So what would you say to somebody who wanted to define their brand? What were the steps that you take?
I think the basis is finding what you're passionate about, finding what you really care about, and using that as the fuel. It's going to be different for each person. Their story. Mine was this interesting hippie thing where I was born on a hippie farm, and but whatever it is, whether it be your love for, a certain thing or an animal or, family, everyone loves family, but like just focusing in and honing in on what you really love or what you really are about, and then just put that out there, and you're going to attract people that want to be part of that.
Right, right. And so when you, some of the different shows, talk a little bit about the various different programs that you got involved in. Were those things that you sought out when you went to, TLC, the hit reality show, in Miami Inc. and New York Inc.? Were those things that came organically, or did you seek them out?
Yeah, I mean, those both just came from friendship, personal relationships, which I think is so important. I knew a guy that I worked with in San Diego that started to hold down the fort with the Miami Inc. team in the very beginning of the show, and once the show just started, it became like the busiest shop in the world. And they needed help, they needed help with all the customers. So luckily I was on that call list to go out there and help them and just be a part of that big machine, because it had like 5 years of great success. And I mean, we had times where there was 50 people waiting in line down, on South Beach to come in when we walked to work in the morning. And then New York started as they were trying to do like another spinoff of New York Inc. or a spinoff of Miami Inc. to New York. And Ami, the main guy, just called me to come kind of help start the shop, and be part of it as the ground up. And wasn't a main character on the shows, but what kind of popped out throughout the seasons.
Right.
And that was just great. And I just utilized any of those little windows, worked hard, kept my head down, never was trying to be on TV, but just available for whatever, hard work, keep tattooing good tattoos, being nice to people.
Right.
And all the basic stuff, all that stuff pays off.
Yeah.
Hard work pays.
Absolutely. Hard work, keeping your head down, but you keep saying it over and over again, being good to people, having that great bedside manner.
Yeah.
That's one of the things we've been talking about the last couple of weeks here on the show, that is the difference between making a transformable customer experience,
sure.
is to have that great bedside manner. Let's talk about the service itself. How has that changed? Since you first got into the tattooing business, is there a difference in the tools and equipment and the techniques that are being used today as compared to when you first started?
There's a minimal amount of advancements. I mean, the inks are a little bit better. Art consciousness is way better. And the machines that haven't evolved too much. We still use machines that were based off, 1800 inventions, like old rotary stuff. So there are some advancements which I haven't even got into yet. I love some of the classic. I love the machine humming, and I love the old coil machines. But there is like new ones that don't make any noise, and I'm a little bit of a traditional purist, a little bit, you know, just because I love that. But there is subtle advancements. I think the most advanced part of tattooing now is just the art awareness and the art capability of some of these artists. Are doing just incredible stuff. Right, right.
Who are some of the people that you watch?
You know, I have a few guys. A guy, Chris Garver, who was on Miami Ink and just one of my favorite inspirations, and a guy, Tim Hendricks, who is also another incredible tattooer and a wonderful person. But there is just a huge list of really amazing artists. And it's fun to see the culture kind of change where these artists are getting glorified a little bit, and there's a lot of validity to that. I mean, there's just some incredible art. It's an incredible art form, you know?
Right.
I mean, you got a moving canvas with an opinion, and you're putting this permanent thing on them, and there's definitely a little bit of blood, and it's just this really extreme level of art and art collecting. And it's nice to see some of these artists getting really some good acclaim.
Right. And so let's talk about the whole process where, like you said, it's a moving canvas. There can be some blood involved. Yep. What are some of the things that you recommend for people in terms of being prepared to have a tattoo, and then also how to take care of it afterwards?
Okay, the preparedness is something that, you first make up your mind that you really want it, you know? And so once you got that in your mind, I really want this, then you do your due diligence and you do the research, maybe just be online and asking friends and really trying to find the guy that you think is right for you or girl. And once you find the person that you really, you've done a little research, you just go there and give them your faith. You know, you can't go there after you've picked them out and kind of fight with them on the design. You have to trust them. So I think the biggest thing is utilize Google, utilize your friends, and do a lot of research before you go in.
Right.
Because once you get there, you just got to let go and be like, I've done some research. I trust you. You're going to do what's best for me. And that's the best thing. And then as far as aftercare, it's really interesting. There's not this high-tech aftercare. If it's applied well, it heals really on its own well. It has its own healing process. So we always recommend a general lotion just to kind of soothe it, but that kind of lets it breathe and still heal on its own.
Right.
And there's some different formulas out there that are kind of more advanced that people are trying, but tried and true is like let it heal. If it's done well, it heals well.
Right.
Which is kind of hard for people. They feel like they really need to be active in the healing. A lot of people are using a little bit of Aquaphor and stuff like that. But really, if it's applied well, it heals well. Everything else is more to soothe it than to change the pace of the healing.
Right, right. Now, let's talk about the inks, because there's some. I'm not well educated on the topic, so guide me here. That they're iron oxide based, and there can be some problems with fading and things like that. Yeah, sure. I mean, there's just as your skin kind of takes an effect from the sun, your ink in the skin is going to change. I was telling somebody this weekend that, if my skin is tan, my tattoos look very faded, but if it's really pale, they look lighter. But there is an activeness that if you get a lot of sun, it can react a little bit. They can become itchy, depending on the inks. Most of them are vegan. Most of them are completely natural. But once in a while, there's a weird company that tries to make something brighter and put something weird in there. So that's a very rare thing these days. Everybody's pretty on it. I mean, every artist is trying to hold dear to their reputation, which is all they really have. Right. So inks are pretty a safe bet, and if they're applied well, they're going to last good. If people aren't putting them in completely solid and perfect, then they're not going to heal, solid and perfect. And the sun does have a little bit of effect. If you put sunblock on it, it'll actually keep it brighter and it'll look better for the long haul. Even though I don't put anything on mine, I surf and I just let them be. They're part of me. And don't treat them any different. Although after this show, I'm hoping that I will make you a convert with regards to sunscreen, because in this day and age, it is so important that we're doing that. So they're not necessarily any kind of specific aftercare, but we were talking sunscreen. I think is definitely a must, whether you've got tattoos or not. And when you're thinking, when you make that transition, you say about somebody making that decision that they're going to do it. How do you know? Do you ever have somebody come in and you go, I'm not really sure that you're real committed to this? Yeah, I mean, as much as I don't want to push away business, I definitely try to be conscious and have an ethic that if they're too unsure, I'll definitely go. I'll give them that energy to be like, look, wait a little bit. You don't need to do this right now. Once you got it, it's there forever. Right. So, maybe when I was younger and really needed actually the money to make a living, because when I made the transition, it was a slower time in tattooing. Right. We had a military base in San Diego, so we had payday weekends, which were great, but there were some dead days where you made no money.
So now I have the freedom to really be pure and honest with people. Like, you really shouldn't do that, or, wait a little bit, sleep on it. I'm definitely maybe shooting myself in the foot in some respects, but just try to protect the people from themselves sometimes.
Yeah. Where do you see the art form going? Where do you see it? Where's in the future for tattooing?
I hope that it just keeps, as far as like the artists, I think that they're such incredible artists. I hope that they get the respect that they deserve. These guys put in so much time and work, break their backs, work just like, beauty people do, like, barbers and hairstylists. They're working with their people, no time off, no holidays, a lot of times no insurance. It's an industry where you're really got to get it while it's coming in,
Right.
And I hope that artists, get the respect they deserve, and I think they are. They're slowly getting. I hope to be tattooing in the MoMA,
right.
or in the Met, live stuff like that. So we're going to get there.
Yeah, and it's an evolving industry, and one where you've got to choose well the qualified authority to do it, because you are invading the skin, and there's blood involved. So
it's very serious.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about Luke's interesting pathway into the beauty industry. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Over here. Here's a secret for a virus-free computer. ESET. They've been a pioneer in the antivirus industry for over 25 years. 25 years of innovative, top-rated antivirus protection. ESET's award-winning security solutions provide a safe online experience for over 100 million home and business computer owners. They are so affordable, fast, and simple to use. So be gone, you blue screen of death. ESET's on my computer. If it's not on yours, visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on ESET now.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need, from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
What does HealthyLife.net and Amazon.com have in common? Well, they're both available on the Internet. They both give great value. But most important, most of our positive program hosts and guests are accomplished authors, and their books are available from, you got it, Amazon.com. Now, it even gets better than that, because when you're listening on air to a HealthyLife.net host or guest, you can go directly to Amazon.com, and you can order your book while you're still listening to your favorite HealthyLife.net program. So when you hear an author you like, go to the homepage of HealthyLife.net and click on Amazon.com.
Where positive people and radio unite. HealthyLife.net.
Welcome back. You're listening to Radio AMB on HealthyLife.net. I'm Patty Schmucker, and we're here with Luke Wessman, world-renowned tattoo artist. As we started this segment we call In the Jar, Luke's jar starts with a blank canvas, normally a human form or otherwise. Is it common that tattoo artists make a transition from the art form of the human body to other art forms like you have done?
I'm not sure if it's super common. I think that some do and some don't. I always say I got into art to kind of be introverted and be able to hide in my corner and do my work. And for me, I felt that if I needed to be further my success, I would have to reach outside that. And so I would take on stuff that maybe a normal tattooer wouldn't do, whether it be an artwork for a company or a wine label or random things. So, yeah, go where no one's gone before. There's not a lot of tattooers reaching out, but I think that they want to more now than ever.
Right, and then you're sort of blazing the trail and sort of showing people how to do it. So tell us a little bit about the Keels Beauty Company. Has been around since 1851. Tell us about a project that you're doing with them.
So with Keels, it's really great. You know, I got to this point in my life where I really wanted to do more charity. And reach out and go further. My whole thing was self-made, about myself, work hard for myself. And I thought, man, I really need to do something for other people. I need to be out there. So I put this in the universe. And as I've been doing a lot of stuff for big companies, I was approached by Keels to do some artwork for a major event that they do every year. This is the 7th annual Life Ride. So it's a ride to gain awareness for HIV and AIDS. And they're in partnership with the company AMFAR, and they do like a bike ride through all their stores, through a certain amount of stores, and they stop. And I've actually designed the main design for the event for them and a lot of their POS stuff for the event, and they've just been such a wonderful company to work for, just such great people. I was able to go to their main office in New York and just sit with them and talk about the design, and it was just, you know, for me, working with a big company, it's still about the people, you know,
right.
And then the fact that it's for an amazing charity and something so important in our culture, you know, I just feel really proud to be able to work with Keels, such an amazing brand. I mean, such a big brand.
And
it's very humbling that they reached out to me to do this for them, and they haven't changed this design in 7 years since they started.
Okay, so this is the first time they're refreshing it.
Yeah, so and they get celebrities to ride on this motorcycle ride. It's like, I think this time it's like a 1,100-mile ride, and they stop at all these Keels stores, and it's a big event. It's a big deal, and I'm going to do my best to go with them. I'm really busy right now, but we're working on trying to get me out there. So
you have a bike?
I don't have a bike, but they work with a lot of, you know, I think they have Harley sponsors and Cadillac sponsor, so at the very least I'm going to ride in the back of a Cadillac or something.
Oh, tough job.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it, right?
Yeah.
So as the process was unfolding, you sat with them, you talked with them about what their vision was,
yeah.
And you go back and start an original concept.
Yeah.
And then what?
So, you know, that's the tough thing when you do a piece of art for someone and hope they like it. So I'd given them a few rough sketches based on kind of just the idea. I approached it like I approach a tattoo, you know, like a company, just like a person, like they want to represent these things for this. So, you know, it being a bike ride, I wanted to do something. So I did this, you know, it's for charity, it's for the heart, it's for, you know, AIDS awareness. So I just thought of all those things while I drew the design, and then painted them something really nice, an original painting after kind of talking with them, and made a few little adjustments, but they were just so great to work with. I can't say it enough. I can't believe how great they were. I've worked with tons of big companies, and they were just really respectful of my art, and I just thought that was so wonderful.
Right. And so that's often something that an artist faces, particularly when they're doing it for commercial purposes, is that something's commissioned, then you hand it over, and you sort of lose control over what happens to it.
Yeah, so I mean, as you try to build your personal brand and bring value and worth to it, you know, you have more of a say usually, and maybe it's just the point I'm at in my career where they respect me as an artist a little bit more than I used to, you know. But anyway, yeah, they've been wonderful, and the respect of the art is just amazing.
Right.
So. And
so as you look at what else lies ahead for you, what are some of the other projects that you've got on the horizon that you are doing now? Planning on doing?
Aside from just doing tattoos on people like on a daily basis, I'm actually putting a book together called Lost Art of the Gentleman. It's a coffee table book, just kind of a passion project that's become a big deal, just based on love and romance and what I believe to be real gentleman values, you know, deeper than just a suit and a mustache, you know. So that's been my big side project right now, taking a lot of my time and my evenings just trying to lay out this book and work with my photographer, because I've hired a friend to shoot, you know, these original photos.
Right. As an artist and and a business owner, as you're working on these various different things, share with our audience a little bit about how do you stay focused? I mean, and how do you keep your mind in such a place where it can continue to be creative?
For me, you just keep that fire lit. You dig down deep when you don't feel like doing something, when you don't feel like getting up. You know, I've always, you know, especially just working late at night, you know, a lot of people stop at 8 hours. and they're like, okay, that's my day. I'm going to watch TV now the rest of the night. I just feel like if people are partying, people are doing stuff, I can be working, and I'm willing to give up my time to get something I want, and that is to further, my comfort in life and my family's. So I just keep that fire lit, and my parents are still very modest and poor, and I have like these other things that drive me to really make sure I'm doing okay, and it's different for everybody. Right. So for me, it's a little bit of family and, just trying to, reach the next level and the next plateau. And that's not always financial, it's mental too. It's a lot of work, just kind of trying to find your happy place, and your happy place is. Yeah. But yeah.
But it seems to me that and certainly my first impression of you, and every time I've had a chance to talk with you, that you're in a great space physically and mentally. Can you share some of the tips that you practice in staying in that space? For me, I've just really focused on that whole mindset, like positive mental attitude, PMA. I have a tattooed on my hand, and I have a lot of tattoos for fun, but that one actually is a nice little reminder to stay positive. See anything. You can view something two ways, negative and positive, and I just really love the idea of focusing on the positive. Right. And it's like a snowball effect. The more you do, the more it comes to you, the more you're around it. So I'm just a big fan of PMA, positivity, Positive mental attitude, PMA. Yeah. Are there any other ones of your tattoos that are very special and significant for you? That's probably the most. I have a lot of ones that mean all kinds of things. I've had a couple friends that have passed, and I have tattoos for them, so they're very powerful. And then I have a lot of friend ones, and I have some tattoos that I have with 30 friends, or really well-known tattoo shop. I have a little logo from their shop, and like all these little things that look kind of crazy and a mess, they actually have a lot of deep meaning. Right. Yeah. And so, again, I love what you said about the positive mental attitude and all those little details like customer service and things like that really distinguish you and make that experience when people interact with you very special. When you're talking to business owners about being able to keep themselves and their staff sort of focused, do you have any advice on how to do that? That's a whole other side of the brain as an artist, and I've battled with it, owning a shop for 10 years, just the idea of managing people. And I don't think I have any clear-cut answer. It used to be just lead by example, which I always thought was the best way for me. Being more of a mellow, introverted guy, I was like, I just got to show these guys how to do it and lead by example. But I think just treating everybody with respect, Yeah. And I think you put it out there and you get it back. Absolutely. All right, so we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the Lost Art of the Gentleman project and learn a little bit more about how that started and what it's all about. So stay with us.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easier for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com.
For all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now this same technology is available to you. They have the best Earthcast encoders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. EarthChannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now. So come to EarthChannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call EarthChannel.com at 1-800-849-8978. That's 1-800-849-8978.
We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
When you're looking for bedding, department store prices can shock you. Well, be shocked no more. Sell steak cheap, not cheap steak. That's the motto of Anna's Linens. Although they don't sell steak, they do sell the best bedding, bath, and home decor items. They strive to provide their merchandise at extreme value to their customers, and they do it. Great everyday prices on everything and military discounts. Plus, if you visit them online, they have clearance items and internet specials. Visit them online now at HealthyLife.net's advertiser page.
Radio your way. HealthyLife.net.
Welcome back. You're listening to Radio AMB on HealthyLife.net. I'm your host, Patty Schmucker, and we're pleased to have Luke Wessman, a world-renowned tattoo artist, here with us today. In this segment we call Beauty That's Soul Deep. I'm excited to have you hear about this thoughtful and inspiring Lost Art of the Gentleman project. So, Luke, how did this project come about?
Lost Art of the Gentleman came about. I became a single bachelor, moved to New York City, and after being in a 10-year relationship. And so just the dating scene in New York kind of prompted me to share a little bit of my thoughts on social media, as Instagram was kind of emerging at that same time as a platform. And I took the daring steps to kind of put some lovey-dovey romantic stuff on there, you know, and cringed a little bit, thought maybe my friends would give me some crap, and I just felt like there was a great response to it. And I kind of started doing it on a timely manner, like every week, do something kind of romantic or sweet that just was natural to me, you know, something I really felt or seen. And it was kind of inspired by a little bit of the dating I was doing and just seeing how the men and women were interacting in New York, and the things I didn't like and the things I liked. And I would kind of showcase those moments, kind of told a little story as I would post. It was almost stuff that I was going through. And, you know, some of the best stuff are just from that real life experiences. And decided that I needed to make it separate from me, so I made its own Instagram page and just started feeding just only that, and a lot of people jumped over there and started following it and liking it. And for me, it was about, you know, this whole term of gentleman. You know, it's thrown around so much in the industry and in our industries these days, and for me, I just felt like it, for so many people, it just fell short, and it stopped with a suit or like a nice mustache, you know, and that's where people kind of stopped their idea of a gentleman. And for me, being a tattoo guy, I just thought, man, this is great. I'm going to be honest and do what I think, you know, as a gentleman, and it's going to be from an unlikely source, you know, tattoo guy.
Right.
So I just kind of fed this social media feed with, you know, bits of morality and some like sexy stuff and some style stuff, and just kind of had this wide variety of what I believe to be encompassing of a gentleman and gentle ladies. And it's doing really well, and it got great response, and I wanted to figure out where to take it further. And I didn't want to cheapen it by just doing some little you know, like T-shirts or whatever. So my goal became doing a coffee table book and something like of substance to kind of give me a springboard to take it wherever I wanted to take it next. So yeah, that's where it came from, me dating in New York and just kind of observing that scene and just chivalry and what it really meant to be a gentleman. And I felt like it was kind of lost so much in a suit.
Right, right. So tell us a little bit, give us some examples of those romantic and sweet things.
Well, a lot of times there's like classic posts that are like the guy opening the door, and, you know, the guy always opens the door. And a lot of these things aren't being done anymore. You know, they're really not.
Right.
You know, and I don't think it's some people can say it's like women are so strong though they don't need it, but I still think it's so much beauty in that old romanticism and just that classic chivalry. So I'm doing stuff based on like being present with your children and a photo of like a dad and his son, and, you know, just little quotes, and some are from people, some are from myself that are out there, and I'm just really trying to promote good and positivity and thoughtfulness and what I believe to be a real gentleman, you know, and like you look at every other gentleman thing, and it's really about style only, you know, and I just really wanted to go deeper than that.
Right.
Because I love style, I love fashion, I love putting a suit on, and I do very often. But I just really know that it's way more than that.
Right. It's the behavior. It's the value systems. It's that kind of thing. And when you were in the dating scene, did you find that there was an overwhelming reception to it, or did you actually find women that felt in some way a negative reaction to you being a gentleman?
I think a lot of women were surprised by it, especially me looking the way I do, and then to treat them the way I did, you know, when we were out on dates or whatever. I think they were pleasantly surprised, you know. For me, it was like, you know, the bad boy look, but also a really good, honest guy. Right. So it was like they were getting the best of both worlds. But, you know, I didn't do that site to date. You know, I just did it because I had time. I had more time on my hands, and I wanted to use that platform for good and not you know, not just self-promotion only. Right.
Well, and I think that's one of the nice things that I've seen over the period of time we've been doing this show is having the opportunity to sit down with great artists who are people who have that, plus they've made it successful. And that success is really predicated on some of the things that you've talked about today, and that's the hard work, keeping your head down, customer service, being present, and so it seems like a really great natural extension of that branding exercise that you were talking about that has helped to differentiate you from other people in the market.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I've done all these things all these years on accident, and now that I've done all those things and laid that groundwork, a lot of companies are coming to me for this authenticity, right? And it's great because, you know, a lot of the companies are amazing, like Kills that have been around forever, and all these other companies I've worked for in the recent past are companies that are very well established with great history. And so to be able to meet with them halfway and be like, I'm a guy with great history. I'm a guy that's kind of, you know, been honest and been real and not changed my ways. I've been who I say I am, you know, and look at my history. It proves it. So branding's a big deal for me right now. I've really been trying to pay attention to it a little bit more as just kind of a social experiment to see how people react to certain things, you know, because up until now I just did stuff purely on inclination, not because I wanted something to happen. Right. But now I'm working with these companies and we're talking about branding a lot. I'm very much more aware, and I've actually spoke at a kids' high school senior class about branding. So people are looking to me for some insight, which I love. Right. So now I'm kind of giving it more respect and paying attention to it a little bit more. Yeah, absolutely. And so when you think about, you mentioned also earlier about setting those intentions and putting it out in the universe, some of the things that you want. So that positive mental attitude, which is one of the other things I loved what we talked about earlier. With that in mind, if you could wave a wand and say, you know, I'd love to be doing this in the next, you know, year, 2, 5, what are some of the things that you would like to be doing? Well, right now I have a secret. Well, it's not secret. I'm going to say it now. But I'm working on a pilot for a traveling TV show. Okay. That's takes people to shops all around the world, and it's kind of shows the human element of tattooing, you know, and the people that are doing it, and not just the tattoos that they're getting, but the people that they're connected to in their areas. So I'm working on an Anthony Bourdain-esque tattoo show. Okay. That, I've done 2 different pilots for, so we'll see what happens. You know, that's just a side project too. You know, I'll just keep a few burners going on the side and see what happens. Right. But we're pitching that one out right now. Other than that, that's an ideal thing for me. Travel, see friends, make my friends. You know, give them more limelight. That would be great. Right, right. And be able to continue to be involving the art of tattooing and being able to really, you mentioned earlier, promote those people and showcase the art form as it's evolving. Take it to new heights. Take it to new places. Yeah. Well, you know, it's just been such a pleasure. Thanks for being with us today. I loved meeting you, and I look forward to the opportunity for this relationship to continue to grow. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you very much. It's just been wonderful. I love it. Thank you. And if somebody wanted to reach out to you, how's the best way for them to contact you? You know, if you just type in Luke Wessman, Wessman, you get to me, you know, email, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff, you know. It's there. Yeah. All right. Great. Thanks again, Luke. Have a great day. Thank you. All right.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about, in honor of 4th of July and the month of July in America, we're going to talk about what it means to be an American and American-made beauty and why the work that we're doing is so important. So stay with us.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com.
When you're looking for bedding, department store prices can shock you. Well, be shocked no more. Sell steak cheap, not cheap steak. That's the motto of Anna's Linens. Although they don't sell steak, they do sell the best bedding, bath, and home decor items. They strive to provide their merchandise at extreme value to their customers, and they do it. Great everyday prices on everything and military discounts. Plus, if you visit them online, they have clearance items and internet specials. Visit them online now at HealthyLife.net's advertiser page.
We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
Oh, man, it never fails. My suitcase just got ripped apart.
Life is a journey. Make it a pleasant one. Use Samsonite. You know the name. For almost a century, Samsonite luggage has proved itself to be the worldwide leader in innovative travel solutions. Let it be yours. Visit HealthyLife.net's affiliate Samsonite on our homepage and click to look at the fine luggage from suitcases to golf travel bags. And don't forget, take a look at their travel accessories. Make life a journey, a pleasant one, with Samsonite.
HealthyLife.net, where positive overcomes negative.
Listening to Radio AMB, where we share the secrets behind the beauty industry. I'm Patty Schmucker, your host, and if you haven't seen the new Independence Day Resurgence movie, make sure you get out and see it. The story is about American ingenuity, courage, willingness to act and make mistakes, but ultimately not only to survive, but to thrive. I'd like to think that these are some of the characteristics you'll find when you get to know AmericanMadeBeauty.com. You see, we are a beauty platform designed to help consumers find beauty companies that are implementing the industry's best practices to bring you quality products and services. When you go to AmericanMadeBeauty.com, you'll find a collection of beauty products and services that have met a strict set of standards that reflect their American heritage. I want to tell you what that means. Since the ancient Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans, the medieval Chinese, Arab, and Europeans, and virtually every other pre-industrial society, we've used products designed to help us look more attractive and to alter our scent. The age-old usage of beauty products is known to have been intimately associated with both prevailing medical knowledge and religious devotion. America has long been associated with innovation in beauty. We're the country that invented the metal screw-up lipstick container. We invented nail polish and mascara. When it comes to color-safe shampoos, we're the experts. Skincare that uses hyaluronic acid and vitamin C as a natural way to keep skin age-free started in America. And essential oils to moisturize and massage the body, all and so much more were perfected here in America. There are many people who will lead you to believe that beauty products made in America are not as safe as products made in France or other parts of the world. I'm irritated when I hear the false accusation that beauty products in the U.S. are not regulated and that our laws have not been updated for over 50 years. These statements are just simply not true. When we decided to build AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we were first responding to the need by American-made beauty brands to find a platform to attract domestic and international distributors and consumers. The idea unfolded as we realized that there was an equally important service that we could provide that was to provide clarity about what Made in America really means, how the cosmetic regulations around safe manufacturing of beauty products, packaging, and claims are being followed by great U.S. companies making some of the world's finest beauty brands right here at home. So let me tell you a little bit about the qualifications a company must meet to earn one of our 2 seals on American Made Beauty. Those 2 seals are American Made, Manufactured in America, and Made in America. So we first ask a brand if they qualify by disclosing to us whether or not, what percentage of their products are made here in the U.S. And that means that the federal government requires that 51% or greater of the retail price of the product is from materials of domestic origin. And that ultimately all of those elements come together and they're finally assembled or processed either here in the 50 United States, the District of Columbia, or our U.S. territories and possessions. Now, we'll talk in a minute about why physically being made here is important. But for brands that meet that 51% or greater standard, they're awarded the Manufactured in America seal from American Made Beauty. However, in California, the California Business and Professional Code 17533.7 to be exact, went into effect in January 2016. When the law was first implemented in 2013, it required that 100% of all labor and materials be of domestic origin. In the beauty industry, this is a tough one, and it leads really to inferior products, along with making our brands less competitive in the global market. Look, let's take a look at essential oils. Many oils are extracts, and they're harvested from places all over the world for their therapeutic and beautifying elements. And they simply can't be obtained here without importing them. A good example is baobab oil, which comes from the baobab tree that's grown in Australia, New Zealand, and the African savanna. That's it. Over the last 30 years, manufacturing of cosmetic packaging has almost entirely left America. So requiring 100% of the materials to be from domestic origin just means that our beauty products would not include ingredients from other parts of the world, would be primarily packaged in tubes, and simply weaken the power of U.S. brands in the global market. So in January of 26, California came to its senses and it amended the statute so that it now allows for companies to be able to, number one, make the claim if the foreign components of the products do not constitute more than 10% of the final retail price. And two, if the manufacturer then can show that the foreign components are actually not available here in the United States, it can actually be up to 20% of the final retail value. So brands that meet the standard applied by the state of California, they're awarded the Made in America seal. While made in the U.S. may sound more pure in terms of compliance, manufactured in the U.S. represents something only slightly less than pure. The key is that the elements are brought into the United States, enhanced by American ingenuity, courage, willingness to act and make mistakes, but ultimately not only to survive, but to thrive as one of the leading innovators of beauty products in the global market. What would be better than what else could be better for our economy? Now let's talk about the other standards that we use to verify and award either the Made in America or Manufactured in America seal. First, the product must be physically made in the U.S. in an FDA-compliant facility. Here's why this is important. The mixing of the goop in the jar is where the safety is manufactured into the final form of the product that you're going to put on your body. In the U.S., the FDA has regulations that identify what type of ingredients are safe to use in cosmetics. Products made in the U.S. by an FDA-compliant manufacturer uses only approved ingredients to go into the jar. FDA regularly shows up unannounced to manufacturing facilities and requires complete access to the facility and its records. Facilities found out of compliance can be fined and even shut down. This is the reason why we require at American Made Beauty that brands use FDA-compliant manufacturing facilities, so you will find no product on our sites that are made in someone's home, in someone's kitchen, using ingredients that not only are not proper, but maybe not pure. The next thing is that we require that it's properly labeled both on the packaging and online, because these are the things that allow you as consumers to make informed choices about the products that you're using. And if you're a brand owner, contact us if you meet these requirements to join the movement. Help us communicate that great U.S. companies are following these standards that result in good products. If you're a consumer using a brand that doesn't have one of our 2 marks, reach out and ask the brand why, and let them know that it's important to you to know that they're following guidelines that result in safe and innovative products. All right, well, that will do it for us today. And if you want to learn more about some of these topics that I've talked about, you can go back and listen to some of our archives either on healthylife.net or on AmericanMadeBeauty.com on labeling, manufacture, and safety. I want to thank again Luke for being with us today, and remember that if you've got questions or comments or want to reach out to any of the guests that we have, send your emails to requests@AmericanMadeBeauty. I'm Patty Schmucker. You're listening to Radio AMB on healthylife.net. Thanks for listening. We think pretty is pretty important in all things in beauty.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Obstacle racing. You know you want to try it. Well, try Reebok's Spartan Race, the global leader in obstacle racing. With 4 different race levels, their goal is to get you up off the couch and throw you into the mud and on the trails to give you the adrenaline rush of your life. Obstacle courses are designed to test your resilience, strength, stamina, quick decision-making skills, and give you the ability to laugh in the face of adversity. Visit HealthyLife.net advertiser page and click on Spartan Race.
HealthyLife.net, the positive radio network.